People who have always have dealt with fear and doubt, this video is for you. But in particular, I feel as if this is a season that God has been perfecting his people and perfecting people who truly love him and truly desire to want to get closer to him, truly have a sincere heart to want to see the finished work that God needs to do inside of them. Also, I wrote down people who deal with shame, guilt, and inadequacy. This video is also for you. There is a space, and this is what people don't realize. There's a space that God has called all of us to occupy in the earth, and only you, directly you. There's something in particular, specifically about you that God has called to a certain industry, to a certain area in life, but something in particular God will call you to occupy. But just not occupy, but God will use you for him to get the glory through your life. One thing's for sure, Satan, if you are a person that Satan has tried to get into your mind with thoughts since you was a child, you are the one that has been targeted because of this particular thing that you need to occupy in the earth that God has already went before you. He's anointed you for. And when God anoints you, he is giving you his approval for a specific thing in this earth. It starts out when you are young. The thoughts in your mind, Satan presents thoughts of fear, doubt, shame, guilt, inadequacy, even insecurity. The reason why he starts young as a child, because he wants to bring confusion to you. He starts the building process of trying to break down your confidence that you need to fulfill the promise and the purpose that God has for you. The Lord sent me to Genesis, the 3rd chapter, when the serpent was in the garden. And it was something very deep and profound about that situation. It wasn't just about how Adam and Eve were disobedient to God, but it was the how. And if we wrap our brains around understanding where the intrusive thoughts and how Satan used certain demonic spirits like doubt, guilt, inadequacy, shame, and we understand the operation of it. The serpent gave Eve a thought. That's where it started from. It was a seed of a thought. And when you have a thought from the enemy and you allow it to take root in your heart, it produces fruit. In Genesis, the 3rd chapter, the serpent questions God's command. That was the first thing he did to Eve. Did God really say that? It was a question. That was a thought, okay? And then he lied. After he presented it, he immediately brought a lie. And he lied to her and said, surely you won't die. And so she was tempted by the words, okay? It was from the thought. The thought produced fruit to her eating off of the tree. And then she goes on to talk about how she was deceived. Why did the serpent deceive Adam and Eve? The deception was because God gave them a large responsibility. They was anointed to take command over the earth and humanity and the animals, as the Bible speaks of. So they had a large responsibility. God appointed them. He anointed them for that work. They was over the whole Garden of Eden. They had large responsibility. They were handpicked by God. They was anointed. So that's what Satan does. He brings thoughts to our minds that create certain demonic spirits of fear, doubt in our lives. And what happens is we allow these thoughts to take root and they begin to produce the fruit of being fearful, of having doubt and not having enough faith in God. If this is you, if I have described everything that you may have went through as a child up until this point and you're still dealing with it, know that you are handpicked by God. You are anointed. God has appointed you for a specific thing to occupy in this earth. Once Satan is able to plague you with doubt, fear, inadequacy, shame, guilt, from previous sins. Once he's able to plague you, it stifles you. It keeps you bound to those things to where you are unable to fulfill the promise, to fulfill the occupancy. And it's time for you to arise and take your place.